This episode is brought to you by Atlassian. Atlassian makes the team collaboration software that powers enterprise businesses around the world, including over 80% of the Fortune 500. With Atlassian's AI-powered software like Jira, Confluence, and Loom, you'll have more time to do the work that matters. In fact, Atlassian customers experience a 25% reduction in project duration per year. Unleash the potential of your team at Atlassian.com. Atlassian.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
You didn't know where she was, or?
No.
For how long?
25 years.
So for 25 years, the mother absconded with her, and you never talked to your children or the mother in 25 years?
Not Christy.
This is the plaintiff, David Stuver. He says the defendant is his daughter and the co-defendant is his son-in-law, and they owe him money which he can't seem to get. That's right, family or no family. He loaned them money. They won't pay him back, and he's here suing them for the $1,300 he says he's owed. These are the defendants, Christy Stuver and Raymond Hurlburt. Christy says the plaintiff is her dad, but he was never a presence in her life. He reached out to her in an attempt to build a relationship and told them they didn't have to pay him back when he gave them some money for their rent. Unfortunately, their relationship didn't work out. Now he's trying to say the gift he gave them was a loan. Some father. They're accused of letting a dad down.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Stuver, you are suing your daughter, Ms. Stuver, and he is what relation to you?
My husband.
And her husband, Mr. Hurlburt, for $1,300 that you say they owe you?
Correct. There was...
She's your daughter, right?
Yes, she's my daughter.
Had you folks had a bit of an estranged relationship while she was growing up?
Her mother disappeared and violated the visitation order. I had reached out, I sent her a teddy bear and a Barbie, but then her mother moved to where I didn't know, and I didn't want to take it to court because then it would have been probation and it could have cost her nursing license.
Okay, you didn't know where she was, or?
No.
For how long?
25 years.
So for 25 years, the mother absconded with her, and you never talked to your children or the mother in 25 years?
Not Christy.
How about to the mother?
The mother? No.
So how about to anybody who would tell you where your children are?
No,
Was it more than one child or just one?
This child. The other
Just this
children
one
I've had off and on relationships with.
Okay, did she abscond with them as well? Did anybody call you?
Different.
Were you literally in the dark about where your daughter was for 25 years?
Yes.
Okay, so what happens?
I found her on Facebook. I had looked for her on Facebook, but I was putting in Christy Lynn Stuver, and it wouldn't come up. One day I just put in Christy Stuver, and it popped up.
Oh, wow. Wasn't that hard to find her, though? Okay. All right, so go on.
But, if you put Lynn in, evidently it doesn't work.
Okay.
And that was it.
So you found her, and what happened?
We were chit-chatting back and forth, and...
Did she ask where you've been?
No.
Okay, go on.
And...
At some point, she asked you for money, because that's why we're here.
Correct.
Okay, and what did she say?
Hey, Dad, I know it's a whole lot to ask, but my whole family got sick. I missed a week of work. Do you think you could help loan me enough money to make my rent on time.
And do you say yes?
Eventually.
Eventually you say yes, but pretty quickly. I mean, you do say yeah.
What are you going to do? She's my daughter.
No, I understand. So how do you get the money to her?
I met Ray at a cafe around the corner from where I live.
Okay.
And gave him the money. Then we went back to the house, or to my place. I gave them toys for the kids.
Okay. All right. And when was she supposed to pay that money back?
It was, I don't know when I'll be able to pay you back, probably mid-month. And then...
Did she ever pay you back?
No.
All right. Did your relationship with her kind of go south? And
there was a thing between my other daughter. I left my phone on the kitchen table when I was going to work, and it was unlocked. My other daughter got a hold of it. My other daughter isn't keen on having somebody else having to share me.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much.
How old is your other daughter?
She's 28 now.
Okay. And what did your other daughter do?
As far as I know, they had some kind of a conversation, or she was on Facebook. I really don't know.
Posing as you?
I don't think she posed as me. I don't know. You know, I don't know, because it's not on my phone, and I was blocked on Christy's phone, so I don't know.
Okay. She never paid, neither one of them ever paid you back, correct? No. All right, what's going on?
Well, as you know, I haven't had a father in my life for my entirety. My mom took care of me because she told me that my dad was borderline abusive and she didn't want him in my life. So I've been supported by my mom with my stepsister for my entire life. So June of 2020, I got a...
Do you remember him from before or you don't remember anything?
Yeah, he dipped out when I was a baby.
Okay, but...
Like, I got one picture of him.
Do you remember moving from one place to another?
Not more often than most people.
No, but I just mean, so your mother told you, I don't want your father in your life.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea whether the father wanted to be in your life?
No. My mom said she had no
It's whatever your mother said you went by. All right, so then he searches for you, and he finds you.
Yeah.
And does he say anything about where he's been, or like, hey, I didn't know she took you, or what does he say?
Not at all. It's just like, hey, I'm your dad. I was like, okay, hi. You want to meet up sometime and get to know each other? I told him I'm very shy. I don't like meeting in person, so it took me about a year to warm up enough to where I'd actually agree to meet him in person. He went through my Facebook and saw that I was getting married, offered to pay for the venue deposit, which was $2,500. I'm just like, you don't have to, I barely know you, but if you'd like to, that's by all means your choice. So he let me meet him at a cafe in Rochester where we had lunch.
Was it awkward?
It was very awkward.
Okay. Can you see, like, while you're talking to him, can you see the resemblance or the gestures or can you see yourself in him or him in you, or?
Not at all. I've never had a father figure in my life, so.
No, I understand that. I'm not sure, well, I know that if my husband took my children away from me, I'd be searching high and low and find them. And that's probably how you feel. But something made you say, all right, I'm an adult now. Let me see if I can have a relationship that other people have.
Right.
And so something in you said that. And then after you met him, how did it go? I know the meeting is awkward, but then how did it go?
The vibes weren't great. He did play for my venue, so I thought, okay, maybe this is his way of kind of showing me that he wants to be a father. So
He did or didn't?
He did pay for
he
venue.
did? Okay.
Yeah. He handed me a big old envelope full of cash. Walked me to my car, and that was that.
There's more to being a father than an envelope with cash. But okay, go on. So walked you to your car.
Then I kind of went home. We stayed in contact for a little bit, and then we had all gotten COVID. It was terrible. I missed a bunch of work, which I also have lupus, so COVID mixed with lupus is not a great time. I missed a bunch of work, and we were on the verge of getting evicted. So he saw one of my posts on Facebook that said, I'm really sick, I don't know how we're gonna make ends meet. And he said, hey, is there anything I could do to help? And I'm just like, yeah, it'd be really great if you could help us pay rent this month.
And was the plan at the beginning that you were going to pay him back?
At the beginning, yes, it was.
Okay, but then the middle of the month came and you guys didn't pay him back.
That's correct. We're still struggling in the middle of the month. I had been in constant conversation because if you owe someone money, you need to constantly converse with them, let them know you're not stiffing them. And I texted him and said, we are going to need some more time to get you this money back. Immediately after that text, we got a phone call saying, I'm not worried about the money. I know you're going through a hardship. I don't need the money. You just focus on paying the rest of your wedding off, paying for your rent, everything like that. Anything the kids need, anything you need, make sure you guys are okay.
Okay. So what went wrong?
After we made that conversation and he said that we didn't need to pay the money back, a couple months go by. I didn't really talk to him because I'm a solitary person. I stay at my house with my kids. I work. I'm very
Was he
busy.
reaching out to you and you weren't answering, or what?
He would reach out maybe once a week via text message and then take pictures from my Facebook and post them on his Facebook as a sort of, hey, I'm thinking about you kind of thing.
Okay.
But then in December, we get some disturbing things on Facebook that are on his Facebook profile, but they're technically the daughter speaking, saying that I'm low life more or less, that I only want him that he's only a good dad when he has money for me. Other than that, I don't pay attention to him.
Did you think that was coming from him, or it was clear it was coming from her?
I thought that he was pretending to be his daughter on his profile.
Oh, I do that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just didn't get good vibes at the first.
Okay, so go on.
One post would have been fine, but it was 3 consecutive posts on the same day. And
does that sound like him?
I don't know him enough to know.
No, I know, but in the year, was it a year that you were corresponding back and forth? And
via text message, yeah.
Right, and then you met once in that year or more?
Once.
Once. And did that sound like the person who you'd been texting with? Because he sounds like he was trying to have a relationship with you. He doesn't sound like, a spoiled brat who, you know what I'm saying? Like it. So it kind of sounds like it was a daughter, right, or no?
I don't know, because on lunch we had the story that he was giving me would be all sorts of flamboyant things that I didn't think would be true. So I didn't really 100% believe everything he was saying.
So did you have a lunch after these posts?
No, this was the initial lunch.
Okay, what kind of flamboyant things was he saying?
Like I travel all over the world. I ride bulls.
What?
I ride bulls.
Bull's the animal, like you ride a bull.
Oh, I ride bulls. Okay.
And the biggest thing was that he couldn't find me throughout the whole life. If my kids were taken away,
yeah, I agree with you.
Life's mission.
I agree with you, because you're not going to do it because you don't know any better. You don't.
And I've been told he was an abuser, so why would I go searching for him?
Why would you go searching for him? Do you have a handle on whether any of that was true, or whether your mother just didn't want him around, or?
I have the word of my great-grandmother, who she lived with at the time, who the only picture I have of him with me and my mom is at her house.
Okay. All right, so these disturbing texts, and then what? These disturbing posts, and then what?
It was getting to be borderline harassment, so I just blocked him on all my social medias. He tried contacting me saying, oh, it wasn't me, and I kind of said, I don't believe you, because why would there be more than one if it wasn't you?
Well, didn't you say there were 3 in one day?
Yeah.
That actually militates towards it being easier for it to be someone else rather than it being harder, right?
Yeah.
Because they only need one shot at the phone.
They were scattered throughout the day.
Yeah, but I don't know. In any event, you decide you don't want anything to do with them.
Correct.
Right.
I don't need that kind of...
Did you ever tell them that they wouldn't have to pay the money back?
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have any proof that he ever told you that you did? I can understand, like, well, don't worry about that right now, work on yourself. But literally forgiving something that was originally a loan, you're going to have to prove that up to me. Do you have any proof of that?
I just have what he said to me on the phone, and he was sitting next to me when I was on the phone, but that's about it.
Yeah. Wow. Did you end up getting married?
Yes.
You didn't invite him?
No.
He paid for the venue, and you didn't invite him?
Correct.
Because of those posts?
Right.
Did you ever talk to your mother and ask, does this sound like him or something, and show it to her, or you kept your mother out of this?
My mother didn't want any part of it. She had told me not to go on the meeting with him in the first place. She said I would regret it, and I kind of did.
I mean, What is so horrible that happened? What were those posts? You know, so what happened is a loan for your rent when you needed it, a payment of your deposit for your venue when you wanted it. So what horrible thing, I mean, I'm not talking about where have you been 25 years. I'm asking what horrible thing was in those posts?
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
The holidays are back at Starbucks, and there's so much to share. With classics like Caramel Brulee Latte, Peppermint Mocha, and Chestnut Praline Latte, we're celebrating everyone's flavor of festivity. Order yours in the app.
Well, there was a lot of resentment for him not being there for his first 25 years.
I think that's what's going on. Because what was in the, but not too much to take the venue money and the rent money. But tell me what was in those posts that made it the final straw, I guess.
Well, I lived without Dad for this long, and if someone's going to besmirch
what was in the posts? What was so bad?
Okay, the first post was, Dad's asleep, my turn. My sister, Christy Stuver, only has time for him when she gets money. I then commented back a middle finger, because that's not true. And his other daughter, who lives in Florida, liked that comment, which means...
Your comment?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
That was, and then it's...
How many children does he have?
He, on Facebook, said 11.
You have 11 kids?
No, I never put that on Facebook.
Is on Facebook.
How many kids do you have?
Proof.
5.
Okay, go on.
And then the next post says, my dad has nothing to do with Christy Stuver. The deadbeat only wants money from him. She has a week to pay him back. Say hello to her. And the last one says, Dad loves you all. He's going to Denton, Montana wildfires tomorrow. Is Wednesday. He did this for my deadbeat sister, Christy.
He did what for deadbeat sister Christy?
The Denton wildfires.
Apparently went to work to make money.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I think that, you know, it's kind of interesting because I see you making an effort and then, you know, it's a delicate thing because there's a lot of hurt and heartache and where have you been? And, you know, when you're able to find her by putting her first name and last name in, and Facebook has been around since a long time, there's going to be hurt. I'm not judging you. No. I'm trying to explain to you why it's not praying with a magic wand and we're all one happy family. It's very hard. If I was your friend and you were asking me, should I pay for the venue, I would have told you under no circumstances because you've mixed the money in with the emotion. And then you're creating like an expectation of a cover charge in your head, or you may say you're not, but then your daughters are. Like the whole thing is just, you know, I think the way to handle that is to dip your toe in the pool and then take your cues from her. I think you tried, and I think it's just not there. So now, you know, my job is not to unify your family. That's up to you guys what you're going to do. I know, because I've read his complaint, how hurt he was that he wasn't even invited to the wedding. But, you know, that's whatever. If you guys aren't talking to each other, you're not talking to each other. And, you know, if you gave it a stab and you don't like it, you just feel too weird about it, that is your prerogative. It is your life. All right? Now, I got to talk about this money. Because if it starts off as a loan and the best you got is you saying, he said don't worry about it, that doesn't change it from a loan into a gift. And even if he said, you know what, you don't have to pay me back, and then changes his mind, it also doesn't change it from a loan into a gift. It's got to be a brand new contract where both sides give up something. There's detrimental reliance on your part. Just somebody saying, I'm going to let this slide, and then changing their mind wouldn't even let you out of the debt. So I have no choice but to order that you folks, and I'm only she's the one who asked for it, but you're the one who received it, so you are legitimately in here. I am going to order you folks to repay the $1,300, and I'm, you know, I subscribe to the theory that it's better to have more people who love us in the world than to not, but I didn't have your pain. I didn't grow up without a father. I don't have yours, so really, I have no business telling you what to do. You get to do what you want to do. That's the one thing where you can make the call. All right? But not on this. On this loan, you have to repay it. $1,300, verdicts for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff prevails. The defendants are going to have to pay back the money that he gave them. Let's see what their response is. Christy and Ray, let me ask you what your reaction is to the judge's decision.
I guess it's fair. I didn't have the text messages or the voicemails that said he didn't want us to pay him back, so...
Yeah, you had no proof.
Nope.
You had no proof of that whatsoever. Let me ask you something. It's interesting. You said you never invited him to the wedding. Why didn't you? He did pay for the venue. It seems to me you would have invited him. Why not?
Because his character was in question at that point, and I did not want that a part of my special day.
One other question. You have children. Has he ever asked anything about your children? He's their grandfather. Do you think he'd want to meet them? Would you let him?
Asked about them, but he's never wanted to meet them.
Interesting. What do you see for the future of a relationship with your father, if any?
Not at all.
None, huh? You must have been surprised to be sued. Am I right?
A little bit. It's been over a year.
Yeah, really. All right, well, listen, it's up to you to work it out with him if you ever do. Good luck to you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's something.
Mr. Stuver, what do you think?
The first wedding was canceled, and then there was a second wedding scheduled. That was what I wasn't invited to. The first wedding, I have the invitation in my hand. And the rodeo, it was the senior amateur rodeo circuit in Nebraska and Iowa.
Ah, and do you ride bulls?
Yeah, I went back to it. Foolish. Yeah, it's a very late midlife crisis.
You don't look like a bull rider.
I've been thrown like a rag doll.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think there's any hope for a future relationship with your daughter? You have 5 kids, interestingly.
Yeah, but she's like her mother. The only time I met her or him, money was involved.
All right.
Yeah, you know, what are you going to do?
Strange situation, to say the least,
interesting.
you know? Yeah. All right, sir. Well, listen, you prevailed. They've got to give you the money back.
Yep.
So good luck to you, whatever happens, okay?
Yep. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, Harvey. Interesting.
Okay, Doug, when you don't have a formal contract, the issue is reliance, and in this case, the judge simply found there was no reliance at all.
Which takes priority, client-attorney confidentiality or being an officer of the court? Good question.
That is a complicated question.
Yeah.
Because every attorney does have a duty and obligation of candor and truthfulness before the court and the jury. But at the same time, they have that absolute obligation of attorney-client privilege. And so where that comes up in a civil case or in small claims cases would be where an attorney, if an attorney's client says, well, yeah, of course I stiffed him. I didn't want to pay the money. You know, he doesn't have an obligation, he or she doesn't have an obligation to go into court and tell everybody that. But they do have an obligation to not knowingly present false testimony or present a false or fraudulent document.
So
right?
he doesn't have to squeal on his client, but he can't put his client on to say something under oath that's different than what he knows.
Exactly.
Which is why most defense attorneys start the conversation with, let me do the talking.
Right. And I don't want to know certain things or whatever. Right. Because, I mean, there is the American Bar Association has a model code of professional responsibility.
Yeah, they give you a lot of guidance.
They give you guidelines. But let me tell you, there are some big gray areas. Yeah. For example, where it gets dicey is where you're a criminal defense lawyer and your client, you sit down with your client who's accused of murder or something, and the guy reaches, here's the murder weapon, puts it on your desk. Okay? So any communications that are confidential, you can't disclose. So him saying that is absolutely privileged. Is him providing the weapon to you privileged? Can you hold the weapon until after the trial is over and then make a motion to the court to disclose a piece of physical evidence? Do you have an obligation right up front to somehow disclose it? If you do, you're diming out your client. because everybody knows if it came from the defense attorney. And the cases are not that clear. I mean, there are some that say testimonial stuff is privileged, but physical actions
and the one
things
testimonial thing that isn't privileged is a future crime.
Right, always.
A future crime, always. Yeah. That's something you're supposed to prevent.
I'm going to kill a witness in
I'm
this
going to kill that
case.
witness tomorrow. You have to disclose that.
You have an absolute
right away.
obligation. Yeah. But some criminal defense lawyers are left in very difficult positions by these things. So really, actually, they need better and harder guidelines on this stuff.
Streaming December 12th on Peacock. Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie are back.
That's hot. Loves it.
For a show-stopping reunion that will prove putting on an opera is anything but simple.
We're really good at this.
One thing's for sure, they won't be upstaged.
Good to have you back. Come on, we've got a show to do.
Paris and Nicole, The Encore, a 3-part reunion special, streaming December 12th, only on Peacock.
This is the plaintiff, Frankie Martinez. He says he pawned a valuable gold coin and necklace at the defendant's shop, and the guy sold his stuff off without his permission. He's supposed to be given proper notice before his items are sold. The defendant didn't, and he's here suing for the $5,825 he's now owed. This is the defendant, Robert Santos. He says the plaintiff had a certain amount of time to pay off his loan, and if he doesn't, he has the right to sell the stuff or melt it down. He sent the plaintiff the proper notice. The guy never came back to his shop, and he owes him nothing. He's accused of giving it all away.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says that he pawned a valuable necklace and coins at the defendant's shop, and the guy sold the items, and he says that is against the law. But the defendant says the plaintiff had ample time to pay off his debt. He didn't, and he melted the stuff down. It's the case of meltdown at the pawn shop.
Thank you, Douglas. All right, Mr. Martinez, you are suing Easy Pawn Corporation, represented here by Mr. Santos, for $5,825 that you say you are owed from them because they didn't follow proper procedure. Talk to me. Tell me what happened.
Okay, I'm going to start by saying 2019, I was in a car accident. I had subdural hematoma, and I'm not good with dates, but I have to look at the paperwork to see the dates. I can't memorize them off my mind.
That's all right.
Because like I said, I had subdural hematoma. But what happened was I've been pawning since 1984, 85. I started in Manhattan on 9th Avenue and 33rd Street. And when I moved to Queens, I seen that place go up. And I said, wow, they're close to me now. It's easier for me to pawn because, I don't have to go to a loan shop.
How often do you pawn?
I pawn when I need to pay bills.
How many times a year do you think?
Maybe 2-3 times a year, maybe if I have to.
Okay. Had you done business with the defendant before?
Yeah, I've done business with them many times, like
What's
a couple
many?
of years.
What's many?
Like 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
How many times? Can you estimate how many times that would have been?
10 to 15 times.
Okay, it's a little more than twice a year. All right, so in any event, you've never had a problem, you had a good relationship, and then what happens?
Okay, then what happens, I divorced my wife and I moved to Sunnyside, and there was a store in the corner on 46 across from T-Mobile, and I didn't know what was going up, and I saw it was Easy Pawn, and I said, wow, the location is close to me.
Okay,
like
so
3
tell me
blocks
what
away
you
from me.
pawned that they sold.
Okay.
Tell me about this case.
I pawned a Mexican coin, which I actually went out and purchased another one.
Can I
2
ask you a
weeks ago.
question? Do you have any evidence that you pawned a Mexican coin with them?
The receipt, I don't have it, but I have.
They don't have any record of you pawning a Mexican coin with them.
Of course, they're going to say that.
Right, and
Yeah.
the way you battle someone lying is you show me proof that you pawned something with them that was a
Right.
Mexican coin. Do you have the
Okay.
proof that you pawned a Mexican coin with them?
Yeah, 1 second. right here. I have, not email, I messaged the receipts and the numbers of the coins.
Okay.
And
Mr. Martinez, I looked through all the evidence before coming out here, and I saw receipts for coins you've purchased to replace the coin you're complaining about. I need to see the piece of paper that shows that you gave them the Mexican coin, because watch this. Mr. Santos, do you have any evidence that he pawned a Mexican coin?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
All right, so when you say, of course they're going to say that, well, yeah, but you're the guy that's got to prove you pawned it. So do you have...
exactly.
Do you have that proof?
Well, no, I don't have the exact proof of that at this time, no.
The exact proof is what I would need. I would need to show. I would need proof that you gave them a Mexican coin worth $4,000. That is the bulk of your lawsuit. Now let's talk about the Cuban link chain. That's a specific name. Cuban link is a specific name for those heavy gold chains.
Cubana.
Yep. So it's $1,825, and that you do have the proof of pawn for, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes,
let's take a look at that.
I purchased it from them on a layaway plan.
Oh, you actually purchased that from them.
Right. And then I pawned it to them.
Yeah.
And then they never sent me any receipts telling me to come get it. And I lost it.
Okay. So this is the pawn receipt for the Cuban link chain, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So they loan you. The way it works is, I guess because you don't have traditional means of getting a loan to pay your bills, you are willing to pay them 65% annual percentage rate. And you get this from them, and then you pay them a princely sum, and then you get it back. But you're serving a need. I don't mean to sound like you're Mr. Santos. Like, there are some people who can't get money otherwise to pay their bills. So this is how you did it. $1,825 was due in 4 months from the date you gave it in. And the due date is right on this form. It's October 14th. So that tells you when you need to go and pay not just the $1,500 that they just gave you, but also the $325 finance charge.
Exactly.
Right.
Your
so
Honor,
did you go on October 14th and pay that?
No, I did not go. But there is, I also sent you a last notice that Easy Pawn sends, as it says, last notice that's supposed to be printed out by their computers. It gives you the ticket number, description of items.
Okay.
So why didn't I get that?
He makes a point, Mr. Santos. He wants to be reminded of what is already on this piece of paper. And that may sound like, well, why don't you just read your piece of paper? But it happens to be the law that you have to send out certain notices and wait certain times, right? This business is regulated, correct?
Yes, it is. We sent out a notice via U.S. Postal Service directly to him. And on top of sending the notice, what we call the courtesy notice, we also sent him a text message as well. So, I mean, we definitely want him to come back for his item. But there's only so much, how long we can actually hold on to it.
Okay, so here's the notice that you say you mailed to him.
That's it, yes.
Which has a date of 10/23, saying your item's going to be sold at auction on 12/9, so hurry it up. And it says due date 10/14. And you've also provided proof that it was mailed.
Yep.
All right, so he's showing me that he did mail you the notice. Now, did you guys also text him?
We also text him, yeah. We text him on January 21st.
So according to them, they also texted you. Is that your number, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, it is.
According to them, they texted you on 1/21 at 10:38. That's way later. That's in January?
Yeah, January.
To remind you, so they still hadn't sold it. Let me ask you a question. If you know it's due in October, you don't go in October, November, December. It's now January, and they're texting you, telling you to come pick it up. What did they do wrong? Why weren't you there all those months?
Because I rely on the final
Well, what
receipt,
happens if you overlook the notice? Because I just saw that they mailed you a notice. They have proof of mailing you a notice. And they say they texted you, which a law doesn't require. They actually texted you because you're a good customer and they want you to stay there. What else do they have to do? Go to your house and wake you up? I mean...
No, they don't. I never received the notice, number one, and the text.
They just have to prove they mailed it, and they've proven that. What about that text?
So the U.S. Postal Service never put it in my mailbox.
That's not what the law requires. The law requires they mail it. The law requires they mail it, and he has proof of mailing it. But on top of that, we're not talking about the guy selling your prized possession a day after your due date. We're talking about 4 months later. Okay, and it sounds like you do this regularly, so you should have a system of being on top of it, frankly. And he's showing me all the law requires is that he sends you a notice. And I see that he sent you a notice, but I also see in his system that he sent you a text. What happened with that?
Welcome back to the People's Court. So the question, did the defendant do everything by the book, or is the plaintiff entitled to $6,000? Let's go back inside the courtroom and find out.
With the text, they never sent text. This is something new that just came out. And number one, I'm not tech savvy. Okay. I'm not computer savvy. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't look at my texts, my emails every day.
If you're not tech savvy, I'm sorry, but that text is actually gratuitous because he doesn't have to do that. All he has to do to comply with the law is send you the notice. I find that he sent you the notice, and I'm ruling in favor of the defendant in this case.
Tough lesson for the plaintiff. The judge finds against him on this. He's not going to get the money. So what do you think about the judge's verdict?
Look, I am very happy. My purpose was to expose that pawn shops do crooked things. Like they say they mail this, they do this, and they can do whatever they want. They have jewelry stores underneath the store. They can change your diamonds. They can scrape your gold. There's many schemes that they have. And unfortunately, I didn't have the proper things, but I am a person that is not tech savvy. I don't wake up every morning like this new generation. I was born in 1963. So when I went to school, grammar school and junior high school, there weren't computers. And I never learned how to use computers.
You don't need a computer to write down the date that the payment is due. You could have put that on a calendar. You knew when you pawned it, the date the money was due to them. You knew that up front.
Right, but life is a busy life. Sometimes you forget. Sometimes you make mistakes. And,
you forgot this time.
And you expect that final notice to come to your mail. If the post office didn't put it in my box, if he would have put it in my box, I would have made arrangements to go get it. That's it. Thank you. I'm exposing that. And these pawn shops, they're like lawn sharks, but they don't break your legs.
Why do you pawn so often? Why do you pawn so much then? If they can,
because I'm a poor man.
It's easy for them to rip you off.
Yeah, because I'm a poor man, and you know what? And this is I have poor credit, and these are the reasons why I do that. So I can pay my bills and I don't have to rob anybody. You understand?
Right.
For my money.
Well, I'm sorry for you. I understand.
That's okay.
I understand. And I'm sorry for you, but that's...
I knew this was going to happen, but it's an exposure to this scheme, okay? I want the world to know. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, but in all honesty, these guys proved they did the right thing and did mail you the
Yeah, because the computers can generate anything they want.
Listen, it's over, sir. I'm sorry. The case is over and you lost. So let me talk to Mr. Santos.
Sorry, but I'm telling you, the computers could regenerate anything they want. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Very good. Mr. Santos, number one, your reaction to the outcome of the case. Were you worried you were going to have to pay them? Or not?
I wasn't worried. We knew what we did. We've been in business for 20 years. So we're not here to cheat anybody. You know, it's really considered a short-term loan. We don't really, that's really what we're in business for. We tried to reach out to him. We went above and beyond. And I mean, what he's saying is it's just not true.
All right, very good. You know, a lot of people don't understand about pawning and what the advantage. And very quickly, what would you say the big advantage of pawning is?
It's really it's generally for people who don't have credit and need access to money to pay their bills. Let's say they're short on cash and they have to pay their light bill, they have to pay their electric bill. It's short term. That's the advantage. We don't need to run your credit. You come in with collateral, jewelry, mainly jewelry, and you walk out with money and you can pay your bills. Really, that's the advantage.
That's what it's all about. All righty.
Yeah.
Well, the judge said you did the right thing, so congratulations, you're off the hook. Harvey, what are your thoughts?
Okay, there are tons of rules and regulations and laws about how pawn shops have to work with customers. This varies from state to state. In this case, all of the regulations, all of the rules were followed, so the pawn shop did nothing wrong and the plaintiff lost. However, you shouldn't just assume that these rules apply in your state. You got to look online under pawn shops and the law in terms of when a pawn shop is able to sell an item, because it does vary from state to state. Check online, you'll know the rules.
A viewer asks, I'm from Miami too. What high school did you go to? I went to North Miami Beach.
I went to St. Brendan's High School. And we were actually part of the first graduating class. And it was right next to an all-boys school called Christopher Columbus. So there were, when we opened up the school, there were probably 5 girls to every 1 boy.
The boys,
because most boys all went to Christopher Columbus.
Did they make a hole in the fence?
They did. They made a hole in the fence, and Father Dennehy did not take kindly to it.
What was your school mascot?
A saber.
The Sabres?
Yes, so it was like a saber-toothed tiger or the sword with both of them.
Got you. Well, I
actually helped write, I co-authored the alma mater of the school.
Oh, okay. Very good.
With a friend of mine.
Okay, well, as you know, I went to public schools my whole life, and I actually graduated from Orchard Park High School, where our mascot was the Quakers, the mighty Quakers, which is kind of contradictory because Quakers are pacifists, and it's like saying the fighting ballerinas or something. Is what's our mascot. So, but we had some good teams and some good athletes, so it was fun.